I just recently watched that fight back, and I cringed watching it. It was a terrible performance. God bless Dan Henderson. He got the job done on that night. As we all know, he was cheating. He was on testosterone replacement therapy. But yet he's still fighting now. He is a marvel of modern science. The guy is cured. His testosterone levels remarkably came back up, and he's still able to continue. Him and Vitor Belfort, you know, check these guys out. They're amazing what their bodies have done. Yeah, Dan Henderson, I want to beat this guy. Of course, he knocked me out. It was good. But Dan Henderson couldn't beat Anderson Silva. Dan Henderson couldn't win a UFC title. Dan Henderson is famous for one thing. That's knocking me out at UFC 100. I made your career, Dan, and after UFC 204, that will be eradicated. You know, I wish him all the best. This isn't personal for me, this is business. But Dan Henderson is not going to win this fight. We all know this. He ain't going to win. He's a one-trick pony. He's got a right hand. He's old. He's slow. I'm too fast. I'm the better fighter. God bless him. Good for him. He's had a good career. We all know he ain't going to win this fight. We've done this before in Manchester. Not the UFC, but boxing. Ricky Hatton fought Costa Zoo. You know, the place was buzzing. It was sold out. You know, it's good. It's cool. I mean, I get it. We've got to cater to the American audience. You know, it kind of sucks in some ways, but it's different. It's cool. I have no problem. Yeah, I think Chris Weidman should be embarrassed that he got his ass kicked off Luke Rockhold, the guy that I knocked out in 2 minutes, incidentally. I think that's what he's embarrassed about. Chris Weidman, you know, I mean, for a guy that spouts on about Jesus and all this, he needs to take a good long look in the mirror because he's kind of acting like a dick these days. And Weidman, win a fight, and you'll get yours, don't worry.
How would the Michael Bisping of 2016 fight that fight differently back at UFC 100?
In that fight, I was very skittish. You know, I wasn't committing. I was on the back foot constantly. It was just a bad performance and a bad game plan. I was overtrained. Listen, you know, I'm not trying to discredit it. God bless him. Good for him. He got me. He got me good. You know, what can you say? It's part of history. Not bitter about it. You know, it is what it is. This is it's a tough sport that we're in. He got me good. And, you know, I get a chance for revenge. Listen, in this sport, you keep going until the referee drags you off. I had no problem with it. It is what it is, you know. I mean, we signed up for this business. I got knocked out. He followed it up. You know, job well done. We can sit here and we can ponder as to whether or not he'll do it a second time. It ain't going to happen a second time. He ain't going to land shit. I'm going to be all over the place, too fast, pick him apart, finish him in the later rounds. The crowd have been absolutely fantastic, and I want to thank each and every one of them that's followed my career. Thank you, guys. Make some noise. And I expect no different this time. Listen, Henderson's, you know, he's a legend in this sport. So, you know, I'm expecting the MMA fans to give him some support as well, and rightly so. Yeah, of course, I'll be the favorite, and I'm excited for the atmosphere there. Of course, there's a lot to lose. You know, I'm very proud to be the world champion. I plan on hanging on to this for a long, long time. Me and Dan have history. There's a story there. A lot of people want to see it. The reaction to the fight when it was teased on social media was very big. So, you know, I get a chance for revenge. I get to get that one back off Dan. And if I lose, yeah, of course, come on. It doesn't matter who it is. If I lose, I lose. I lose the belt. Simple as that. So that's not good. So regardless of the opponent, I got to win this fight, regardless. Dana called me 2 days after the fight and said, we want to do Dan Henderson. I was like, yeah, sure. Line him up. I owe him one. Fred Flintstone's going to get knocked out. Captain Caveman's going to go into retirement. All good. Yeah, why not? If GSP wants to come out of retirement, if he's finally grown a set of balls to come and fight again, beat Anderson Silva, beat Dan Henderson, beat Luke Rockhold, beat GSP, yeah, why not? Of course.
For years, Michael Bisping has been haunted by that highlight reel from UFC 100 where Dan Henderson brutally knocked him out.
This right here is revenge.
Normally, I'm not that way in fights. I know if the guy's out. I think that one was just to shut him up a little bit.
Dan landed that big right hand. That's all I remember. Fair play to the guy. He got me. He landed that second punch, you know, which in my mind, there was no need for.
It was just a reaction of mine to keep going until I was stopped, and it did feel good then.
The guy constantly mocks me with that. The public mock me with that. This is my first title defense, but for me, it's not about defending the title. I want revenge. I want to put him in his place and wipe that smug look off his face.
The fans wanted to see a rematch. He really had nothing to offer until he won that belt.
Dan Henderson has the kind of power where he can change the fight in an instant.
I appreciate you guys giving me that extra energy to keep on going and that extra drive.
It shall be done, the rematch, Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson.
Make no mistake about it, the belt is on the line, but this fight is all about revenge.
As a fighter, you want to go out there and right that wrong. Michael Bisping, he has the ability to erase that loss.
Look, Bisping's but he's a warrior and he's tough and he's going to hang in there.
Dan's had a great career. He's achieved many things, but the number one goal people want to achieve in mixed martial arts is to be the UFC champion of the world. I am the UFC middleweight champion. He is not. There is a reason for that. I am the better fighter. I will prove that in this rematch. I will beat him. Lightning will not strike twice. I will knock out Dan Henderson when he's unconscious. I'll give him another blow as well.